We are live. It looks like that'll work. All right. No morning rituals. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gananantva Ganapati Gom Bhavamahe. Priyanantva Tirupati Gom Bhavamahe. Nidinantva Nidipati Gom Bhavamahe. Vaso Mama Aham Jani Gadadamatma Jati Garbhidam. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gandam Samapayami Shri Ganeshaya Namaha.
Good morning, friends. So I forgot my mic, so I had to go get the mic, and just a little sound check out there. So if it's coming through, okay, let me know. Good morning, Maggie and Sarah, Irene, Stephanie, Trini. Thanks for joining. Here, a little chai and chat this morning as normal. And first, we have a couple friends that have joined me this morning. Brandon and Jessica came up from Littleton this morning, and so they're going to practice live. Sounds good. Thanks, Brian. Hi, Eric. And so they're just off camera a little bit. You might be able to see Brandon there. He's waving. And so, yeah, I titled our class this morning, Yoga and Embodied Experience. Good morning, Timmy. And it's really interesting because I started out this morning, I have a telescope, and I got out the telescope, and I, the moon is just gorgeous. And so one of the things that I kind of navigate is deep field viewing on the telescope and more terrestrial stuff. And it always invokes kind of like a time travel aspect in my experience, if you will. And when we kind of consider yoga and embodied experience, it's like it is also time travel, but it's time travel into the present moment. And if you consider kind of where our mind is going, and mind is, either time traveling back in time, rehashing, something that happened, or time traveling forward, rehearsing or anticipating something that hasn't yet happened. And so for the yogi, though, right, we want to dial in on the present moment. And one of the best ways to do that is to feel the experience fully that you're having and staying engaged with it, because sometimes we'll have like a moment of presence, and then it can be fleeting, and then we're drawn away from that moment, either into the past or the future, again, rehashing or rehearsing, reviewing or anticipating. And so, but then that embodied experience that we're having is really just a preparatory practice. It's just a beginning practice in that when we can train our being to stay kind of connected to the present moment, then
our mind is capable of becoming more subtle and more refined and deepening into the under layers of experience. And that is where the yogi wants to fully abide all the time. And what I would offer in that is to kind of create that framework. We kind of have to slow things down, allowing for whatever experience that we're having to be really fully embedded. And then that embedded experience then, becomes embodied. And then once that embodied experience happens, then we can just deepen into that. So I'll kind of cue that up. I think our asana practice today might be a little shorter because I want to do a little more pranayama in our meditation, of course. And Brandon and Jessica, they're gonna, do a little work on the land today. So we got a little work lined up. And so retreats coming up. I have 4 retreats coming up. Not next weekend. I kind of punted. I had to reshuffle some things. But the following week and the week after that, and then 2 weekends in September, right around when the aspen are changing up here. It's going to be glorious. And so stay dialed in with me on all that. And we know space is limited. I limit it to 12 and would love to have you all come up. So anyway, namaste. And that's chai and chat. So just come into your grounded seated position here. And I always chant this Ganesh mantra. I didn't get a chance to do that, so I'm going to do that before we begin. But come into your breath. And as you enter into your breathing, once you're feeling kind of grounded in the breath, then let it transform into, as we know, the diaphragmatic breath, the belly breathing, and then the invitation for yoga and embodied experience is to fulfill experience or feel every fabric of what's taking place and like sustain your engagement with it. This is where we really just stay with whatever experience it is and just continue to be the observer of it. You can join me for a couple of ohms, and I just can absolutely chant this Ganesh mantra. So exhale the breath completely, and then a couple of ohms here. Big inhale. And then again, another nice big inhale. And then as I chant this Ganesh mantra, it's a little long, but as I chant it, let your sankalpa emerge, and then maybe add to your intention. That's sankalpa. What like an experience in your life that you desire to be more embodied, to be more present, to be more full. Yeah. And so we'll chant to Ganesh as you formulate that and bring in the cosmos. Om Samukascha Kadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Naborarashchivikato Vignanasha Vinayakaha Jumraketu Ganajaksho Balachandra Gajananaha Dvabhakshaitani Namani Yapate Tunyadipit Vijarambe Vivaheta Praveshe Nirgame Tata Sangame Sakate Chaiva Vignastasya Nijayate Vignabalikuttaraya Shri Ganani Pataye Namaha Vakratunda Mahakarya Surikupti Samaprava Havinam Kurume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarvada Shuklam Bharadidam Vishnu Shashavanam Chitubhujam Prasannavananandaye Sarvavigna Upashantaye Navastesham Jayastesham Bhutastesham Purajayaha Yesham Yinivarashamo Hridayasya Janardanaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Translation is essentially one who listens or chants the 12 names of Ganesh is ensured success in any of their endeavors, whether it be at the start of education, the time of marriage, or the time of calamity or otherwise. And we pay oblations to Vishnu, the one who preserves the creation, the ancient teachers from ancient time. And I'll add that let our beneficial desires for the embodiment of presence also be fulfilled. Jai Shri Ganesha Namaha. Okay, friends, namaste. Thank you for that. So we'll stay seated for just a bit. To start here, let's interlace our fingers and extend the hands and arms out, just kind of feeling a little bit of length through the forearms as you extend through the root of the index finger. And then with an inhale, float the hands and arms up over the head. And so now sensation begins to appear in the body, and allow that to be kind of this connecting point to embodiment. So first we invite experience. Take a nice big inhale and exhale slowly now. Slowly lower the hands and arms around the low back, rock back on the sacrum here, a little stretch to the back body, and then inhale, sweep hands and arms back up. And then again, exhale slowly round and lower the arms. Then again, inhale, flow back up. And exhale, last time, slowly lower. Yeah, and then inhale, we'll meet at the top here. And then float the hands and arms shoulder height. Let the right palm turn up, the left palm turn down. And then just give the arms a little bit of a twist here. So you can just feel the stirring of the humerus bone, the upper arm bone, and the ball and socket joint of the shoulder. Just allowing that shoulder girdle to be a little free. And then kind of arrest that movement, a little rotation of the wrists forward to invite the fingers to participate so the forearms get a little bit of a stretch there. Yeah. And a nice big inhale and exhale. Now the right arm under left. So Gurud Awesome. You know this is eagle arms, elbows out and up, shoulder blades down and back. And then just give the head a little bit of a stir here to stretch the neck and the upper back. It always is pretty yummy, seems like. And then neutral position here, inhale, float hands and arms really wide like you're hugging a big beach ball. And then exhale, left under the right. So bending elbows, forearms, palms come together, elbows out and up, shoulder blades down the back. A little bit of, that. Yeah, loving into that stretch. And then neutral head, inhale, float hands and arms wide. Exhale them behind you and interlace the fingers and just breathe very deeply. The gaze can go up here if you like. Yeah, just deep breathing. Let the ribs open with the expanse of the lungs, we know. And then soften the grip here. And then extend, when you're ready, the right hand out. Left palm turns up. Inhale, float arm up. And then exhale it over the head. Just get a nice stretch in that left side body. You can ground the left knee a little bit. You can feel into that. Feels good. Yeah. Oh. And then from here, let's just bend this left elbow and draw the hand to the back of the head. Lift the chin here. And continue breathing deeply, and then just tap in observing your experience, right? So just observing, beginning the embodiment process, really. And then inhale, float hands and arms up. Exhale, release it down. Extend this left hand, right palm turns up. Inhale, float arm up. Exhale it over. Heart spins open. The gaze can go up if you like. Ground that right knee a little more, consciously. Yeah, and then put a little bend now, and that right elbow, hand to the back of the head. Stay with the breath. just stay in observation of the experience without necessarily tagging it, with any judgment, say. Yeah, and then inhale, reach the stars, and exhale, gently release all the way down, down, down. So a little twist here. Inhale, float hands and arms up, and then just spiral to the right. Release this left hand on the outside of that right knee or thigh. Lengthen the spine here. Breathe deeply into the belly here. Allow that twist to unfold. Yeah. And a nice big inhale. And exhale, soften into neutral position. We'll switch this out. So inhale, float hands and arms up. Spiral to the left and release hands and arms down. So the 6 movements of the spine, flexion, extension, axial rotation, and lateral. So really get the spine warmed up here. Breathe in. Big inhale and exhale, soften from the twist. Now we can spin off of the seated position. We'll make our way to tabletop. So come to all fours here. And then from this position, let's just, begin to circle the hips a little bit. Maybe you do little, barrel rolls with the torso, clockwise or otherwise, whatever kind of feels good or organically to the body. And again, then now all of a sudden, plethora, right, of sensations appear, and you're just kind of standing one frame behind them to observe, but also be fully engaged with them. And so, and then we'll switch to the directions if you want. So instead of it being kind of like a fleeting experience, there's some continuity in the observation of experience, essentially, is where we're guided here. And then from this position, extend the right leg behind you, the toes tuck under on the mat, just to wake up the calf and Achilles first. And again, just sustain the perception of experience. Float when you're ready. The left arm and the right leg, shoulder height, hip height here. Really extend the foot back, the hand forward. Then nice big inhale, and exhale, rounding. So elbow to knee, give her a little squeeze in. And then inhale, sweep open. And then exhale, round, squeeze. And one more inhale, sweep open. And exhale, round, squeeze. And then release into neutral position. And we'll switch this out. And so extend now the left leg behind you, toes tuck under on the mat first. Just allow that to wake up in the body. And then float right arm, shoulder height, left leg, hip height. So really extend foot back, hand forward, so you get some kind of energetic length, if you will. And again, we're just observing. Big inhale, exhale, rounding, squeeze in. Inhale, sweep open. Exhale, round, squeeze. And then one more of these. Inhale, sweep open. Exhale, round, squeeze. And then release to neutral. So I'm just going to spin around here real quick. From this position, let's extend the right leg out to the right. It'll be off your mat. We're pretty used to this. Let the hips drift back a little bit, and then bend the elbows, come onto the forearms. And as the pelvis anteriorly pivots, that stretch is refined in the inner groin. It just feels really wunderbar. Wunderbar, wonderful. Yeah, feeling that. And then inhale from here, ground this left hand, and then take the right hand to the sky. Just reach up, up, up. Yeah, stay with the breath. Yeah. Ooh, yay. And then big inhale here. Exhale, release this right hand down. Then check this out. We're going to turn this up a big notch. So extend this left hand forward, and then take this right hand underneath and sweep it over to the left as the shoulder and the ear releases to the earth. Oh, yeah. Stay with your breathing. A nice big inhale, and exhale. This left hand back underneath you, ground the right, and then we'll switch. And so from neutral position, we then extend the left leg, toes point forward here. Again, hips drift back. Oh, yeah, that inner groin just lights up, and then bend elbows, forearms, catch our balance. Just feeling and breathing. So again, sensation. It's almost like you just drive, honestly, you just drive your awareness into the experience and then commit to holding it there instead of letting it transfer into thought pattern or anything else, whatever it is. Yeah. And then come up to neutral ground. When you're ready, this right hand inhale, float the left. Oh, there's another sweet twist. Breathe very deeply here. Now, big inhale. And exhale, float now this left hand down. Reach right hand forward. Same thing. Sweep this left hand over to the right as the shoulder and ear draws to the earth. Big, big thoracic twist. Yeah, and then a nice big inhale, and exhale this right hand back underneath you, back into neutral position, tabletop. And then we'll meet in Adho Mukha Svanasana. We know this is downward facing dog. So tuck the back toes under the hips, lift here. Take whatever time to move the body to relieve any of those, sticking points, if you will, right away. They happen. And that's all good. Yeah. Ooh. Just breathe deeply. The breath, of course, is always a nexus, a connecting point, even a primer, a key to extended presence. Just stay with your breathing. And then lift the heels or come up on the tippy toes. Sink the heart. Yeah. Loving into that. And then release the heels back down to the earth here. Yeah, and then put a little bend in the right knee, ground the right hand stretch. Left calf and Achilles. You can even descend that right hip a little bit. You can feel into that. And then straighten and switch. A little pedaling between the two if you like. Just sustain it. And then coming into a sense of stillness in the body. And allow that stillness to really reflect into the nature of inner experience. And then we'll meet in child's pose. So nicely done, you guys. I do feel the stillness. Release forehead to earth. Hands can float to the ankles or the feet or what have you, whatever, again, feels best for your body. Try to get my britches a little better. And then gently we'll meet back into downward facing dog. So inhale, back into tabletop. Exhale, lift the hips down to down to down, down dog. Oh, yeah. And then take the right leg hip height there, the right leg hip height. Really extend the foot back energetically. So engage the quadricep. We lift the kneecap into the thigh, and you'll find that alone really will strengthen and lengthen the leg, right? And then take the leg higher, let the hip naturally spin open, work the foot initially straight to the sky, and then bend into that right knee, track the foot over towards the left. Yeah, so nice. And then inhale, straighten the leg up, exhale, release it down. We'll switch this out. So when you're ready, float that left leg, just stay with it here, hip height, pause. But again, engage the quadriceps. You can feel the kneecap lift, and that'll just send the leg back energetically, strength and length. That's the idea. And then leg higher, hip naturally spins open, foot straight initially to open up into the inner groin, and then bend the knee. Track that foot over to the right. Now, oh, yeah. And then inhale, straighten the leg, exhale, gently release it all the way to down. Nice. Take a big breath here. And then exhale, walk the feet to the hands of forward fold at the top of the mat, Uttanasana, we know this as. Take a moment here, a little space in between the feet as we know. Just feeling your way into that. You can give the head a little bit of a stir. Yes and no, a little bit of that. Maybe grab opposite elbows to feel a little more traction in the spine. Weight kind of pivots towards the balls of the feet, so that allows for the stretch to actually move into the kind of the meat of the hamstring versus the connector point of the sits bones. We want those guys to stay kind of healthy for a long, long time. Really, and then inhale Ardha, that means half lift your hands, mid-shins, lengthen from tail to crown, shoulders move away from the ears, that puts extension, as we know, in the spine. A big inhale, and exhale, lengthen out as you pull down, chin tucks, hands release at the very bottom. Yeah, and then inhale Ardha, and then exhale, hinge, fold. We'll do one more of these. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Put a little bit of knees, and we'll step back into high plank, high push-up here. Oh, yeah. So the hips are lifting a little bit until you find and feel the kind of belly button draw to the spine. I track my shoulders, like a number of inches behind my wrists, and that flattens out the angle of my wrist and makes it a little better for me, right? So if you want a little more supple sensation in the wrist, make this stance a little longer. Float that right leg hip height here. So a little core fun here. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. Right knee, right elbow. Give her a little squeeze and a kiss. Yep, and then inhale, leg behind you, and then exhale, right knee, left elbow, all the way across the body, and then inhale, leg behind you, and exhale, gently release it down, and we'll switch it out. So float that left leg, hip height there, pause, stay with it. Big inhale, exhale, left knee, left elbow, a little squeeze and a kiss. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, left to right, squeeze. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, release it down. Stay with it here. Big inhale. And exhale to the knees, nicely done, good endurance, all the way to the pelvis. Boo, Jangasana, Cobra pose here. So hands ground, pelvis grounds, feet also ground, inhale, float, torso, just kind of a baby cobra. Shoulders pivot away from the ears. The gaze is down here, so we're not crunching the neck. It sustains its length, if you will. Big inhale, and exhale, float, torso, forehead down. And then again, inhale, float on up. And then exhale, float down. And then one more of these. Inhale, float on up. Tuck the back toes under. And exhale, lift the hips back into downward facing dog. Yeah. Breathe on. And then we'll meet in warrior one. So right foot steps, right hand, left heel pivots down, come to standing. There's no rush at all, no hurries here. So honor the width of your stance with the width of your hips. Back of the quad is firm, core is firm, and then feel the feet ground. So now we're just embodying like all sensation, right, in physical form. And then eventually we'll reach our hands and arms up over the head. Kind of the attitude, if you will, in a yoga pose is to be just fully engaged in the experience that you're having without necessarily judging its experience, without labeling. Here, stay with the breath. Yeah, and then with an inhale, bend the elbows so the heart can flourish open here. Just stay with the breath. And a nice big inhale and exhale. We'll pulse forearms towards one another. And then inhale, open. And exhale, pulse. One more of these. Inhale, open. And exhale, pulse. And then inhale, reach to the sky. And then capture the left wrist with the right hand. And then just float over to the right. And engage the right quadricep as you do so. Really penetrate the big toe mound into the earth. Breathe very deeply here. Yeah, and then inhale, float up to neutral. And then we're not done. Exhale, hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, look up, lengthen front spine, grow tall, then hinge, folding forward at the hips. The hands and arms go over the head as we sink into that right hip. Just stay with the breath. Yeah. Ooh. And then exhale, you're breathing completely. Then inhale, float up and out of it. So we reach to the stars here. And then exhale gently, like a feather, float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back into high plank. I push up here. Big inhale, and exhale to the knees again, to the belly. Bhujangasana, but a little higher pitch possibly this time. Inhale, float on up. like so. Yeah, just breathe here. So again, the shoulders keep wrapping away from the ears, the elbows tracking into the side body, hands ground, and stay with me here. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, look over the right shoulder and just breathe here. So take a breath. Oh, hummingbird joining us. And then neutral position. And then big inhale. And exhale to the left. And just breathe. Oh, yeah. And then a nice big inhale. Exhale to neutral. Tuck the back toes or an inhale breath. And exhale back into downward facing dog. Oh, yeah. Breathe deeply to nourish the body with breath and life force energy, prana. Yeah, and then little bend in the knees, and then the left foot steps, left hand. You know this, Virabhadrasana 1 again, so come to standing. There's no hurries here. Again, just organize the body. Begin to feel the embodiment of the experience, where you're just fully present with all the sensations from like the altitude of the observer, just watching, breathing deeply. And then with an inhale, bend elbows so heart can flourish here again. Oh, yeah, just breathe deep here. And a nice big inhale. Exhale, pulse forms towards one another. And then again, inhale, open. Exhale, pulse. And then one more of these, inhale, open. Exhale, pulse. And then inhale, reach hands and arms to the sky. Capture now right wrist, left hand, and then inhale, sweep over to the left as you engage back leg quad. Maybe even pierce the big toe mound of that right foot a little deeper into the earth. Oh, yeah. And then inhale, float up to neutral. Exhale, hands behind you, interlace fingers here. Inhale, look up, lengthen front spine. And exhale, float the torso on the inside. This now left leg, hands and arms and such overhead. Just be mindful here. Breathe in. Oh, yeah. And then exhale the breath completely. And then inhale, float all the way up and out of it. Hands and arms reach to the sky. And then exhale, float all the way down. Plant the hands, step back. High plank, high push-up. Inhale, you're breathing. Exhale to the knees, all the way to the belly. Different version here, though, coming up. So cactus the arms by your sides here. And then inhale, float the arms and the torso. And then exhale, float down. This little back work. Inhale, float up. Exhale, float down. And then one more time, inhale, float up. Exhale, float down. Draw the hands underneath you. Inhale, push up into tabletop. And then exhale, just float back into child's pose. Just take care of your back here. Breathe into the belly. Stay with the breath. And then gently, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. So inhale, tabletop. Tuck the back toes under when you're ready. Down, downward facing dog. Oh, yeah. Embody present moment perception. And then back into Virabhadrasana 1, where one right foot steps, left heel pivots down. Just as a momentary transition. So we're going to bring hands to prayer here at the heart. Just kind of feel peaceful warrior stance. This is what I dubbed this at the start of the protests that emerged. It's just, you can be in peace and be present. Peaceful warrior stance. Yeah. And then from here, we're going to come into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. So the technique here is to release the back foot and point the heel to the sky and step the foot in. That squares the hip. And then begin to work the weight into this front leg. Lean forward. And then it's just to straighten that front leg as you lift the back leg and the body down and the leg up. Breathe here. Stay with the breath. And then like cactus the arms. So lift the elbows up, going into that. And then begin to hinge at the hips. As you keep lifting the arms, we come into standing split here. Hands to the right ankle or the floor block, whatever to catch a wobble. Draw the forehead towards the shin here. And then a careful bend in the standing leg knee. Release the back foot down. Inhale, float hands back into peaceful warrior stance. So allow for a sense of presence to unfold. Embodied moment where their past and the future just meets right dialed in into the present moment. Yeah, float, hands and arms reach. Exhale, gently release all the way down, hands plant. We'll go through a little vinyasa here. Step back, high plank, high push up. Big inhale, exhale. Different iteration, 8 points down. Knees, chest, chin, hips stay lifted. Inhale, pull forward, cobra. Or upward facing dog now. I'm in up dog. Then lift the hips and exhale, down dog. Down to down dog. Yeah. Breathe deeply. And then a little bend in the knees, left foot steps. Left hand, right heel pivots down. Come and standing again. Peaceful warrior. Just take a moment. Feel hips squaring off, back leg quad firm, big toe mound, grounding, hands, heart center. The gaze is like the gaze of trance, where the eyes are just partially, softly fluttering, closed, and the mind is clear and free. Oh yeah, strong and present, embodied. Yeah, and then from here, modified warrior 3 again. So technique, release the back heel, point the foot to the sky, step it in, and then begin to work the weight into this front leg. This, for me, my left leg, and then straighten that left leg. Lift the back one. Stay with your breathing. Engage the quadricep of a lifted leg, and that allows for all this stability to come as you extend the leg, and then cactus the arms here. Breathe deeply. Then begin to hinge at the hips, folding forward, hands to the left ankle, the floor, wherever it may be. Catch a wobble, forehead towards the shin. And then a careful bend in that standing leg knee. Release the back foot down. Float hands and arms over the head. So just really peaceful, fully present, fully embodied. Exhale, float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back, high plank. Go through your own version now of vinyasa, and I'll meet you in downward facing dog, Shivalaya Temple, August 8th, 2020, 8/8/2020. There's got to be something sacred about that number. Breathe. And then we meet in child's pose. And then gently, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Nicely done, you guys. So just a little bit of work here. Float the right leg hip height. Yeah. Then inhale into high plank, high push up here. Keep the leg lifted. And then bend the elbows a couple of inches, sink. Then inhale, straighten the arms, and exhale, lift the hips back, leg stays lifted. 2 more of these. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, bend elbows 2 inches. Inhale, straighten arms. Exhale, lift the hips back. One more this side. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lift the hips back. Then release the leg down. Oh, yeah. Then we'll switch. So float left leg, hip height here. Pause. Breathing. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lift the hips back. 2 more on your own. Oh, yeah. Release the leg down when you're done. Then we'll meet in warrior 2. Right foot steps, right hand, left heel pivots down, come to standing again. No hurries. Just feel all experience here. Bend deep in the front leg, knee, hips are open. Back leg quad is active. And let that back leg quad draw energetically the form into the back foot. And then float the arms, oh yeah, shoulder height. And then maybe a little higher to open them up a little bit. And that seems to create length on the side bodies here. And then let the palms turn up and really reach to the back hand. Stay with the breath. Oh, and sink a little deeper into the front leg, knee deeper still. And then draw the right forearm to the right thigh and the left arm over the head. Heart spins open. So Parsva Konasana, we know this is extended side angle. Breathe deeply and then straighten this right hand towards the earth. Maybe sink a little deeper right hip. Oh, yeah. Then exhale the breathing completely. Reverse this. Inhale, float all the way up, straighten the front leg, left hand, left leg, right arm over the head. And just breathe very deep. And straighten the front leg all the way. Oh, yeah. And then a big inhale. Exhale, hands and arms, shoulder height there, thumbs to the sky. Micro bend front knee, Trikonasana prep, triangle pose. Big inhale. Next, I'll just pivot forward. And then when the hip stops moving, you can just stop and tip. The earth is not a destination. Say with that right hand, long lines of the body are. Take the gaze to the thumb of the left hand if that's accessible. And then the Utthita. So this is Utthita Trikonasana. And the extended part is drawing this left arm over the head. Oh, towards the front of the space that you're in and just reach. Stay with your breathing. Oh, yeah. And then exhale the breath completely and it'll float up and out of it. Bend in front leg, knee, warrior 2 is where we'll kind of reside for a moment. Big inhale. Cartwheel the arms. We'll meet you in down dog. Release the back foot. Go through whatever flow feels best. And then down dog. Oh, yeah. Breathe in deep. Nourish the body with breath. Take a little chai break here. And a little bend in the knees, left foot steps to the left hand, warrior 2. I'm just going to spin around so I can continue to kind of gaze at the camera a little bit. When you're ready, arms float, shoulder height. Breathe in, and then a little higher. Oh, let the breath really open up. And then, let the palms turn up now. Reach to the back hand, feel that. Sink a little deeper into this front leg. Big inhale and exhale. Left forearm, left thigh, right arm, Parsva Konasana, floats over the head. Extended side angle part. Heart peels open. And really ground big toe mound to that right foot and just reach, reach, reach. Through the right fingertips, straighten the left arm. Sink a little deeper into the hip. Stay with the breath. Then exhale, you're breathing completely. And then inhale, sweep up and out of it. Reverse it, straighten front leg, right arm, right leg, left arm over the head. Stay with the breath. Then a big inhale, exhale, hands and arms, shoulder height, thumbs to the sky as we know. Big inhale, and exhale, pivot forward. hip moves, and then when it stops, you just tip long lines of the body. So Trikonasan here, and then Utthita. Extend it, so draw the right arm over the head as long as you can, and just reach to the fingertips of that right hand. Breathing deeply, exhale the breath completely, then inhale, float up and out of it. Warrior two, take a pause here, embodied experience. Nice big inhale, and exhale, cartwheel the arms, go through your flow. We'll meet you in down dog. Oh yeah. Ooh. Breathe deeply, nourish the body with breath. And then gently walk the feet to the hands here. Forward fold at the top of the mat. Take a moment. Oh. And then inhale, half lift, pause. A little bend in the knees, and then lift the elbows flat back to standing. Come all the way up, reach full tall, and then bring it into the heart space. Just take a minute here. Let the hands drift to the sides, palm turn open, eyes closed. And I'd like for you to just process your awareness from your feet up to your legs, torso, arms, neck, head. But let it be kind of slow. Just feel every kind of part of the body from the earth up. Sometimes having the knees bent a little bit is helpful. A little more grounded. Let your attention, your awareness be directed towards every part of your being here. Just noticing. And then notice the stillness or the peace that is apparent. It's the fascia of presence and the wiring of higher states of consciousness, perception. Embodiment. Let the hands draw behind you. Again, the feet are a little separated here. Inhale the breath. And exhale, bend the knees generously, hinge at the hips, the hands and arms float up and over the head here. And then gently release the grip of the hands here. And we'll come into Malasana. We know this is a kind of a squatting pose. The toes open, the heels turn in, just sink into the hips. Maybe if this is a little tricky for your knee, you can put something under your pelvis or make any modification that might be suitable. Mention that. And then we'll open up here in a little twist. So draw the right hand to the earth and the left hand to the stars, as we know. And some of you may, want to give a shot at binding this out. The thumbs turn down, elbows bend. Just interlacing hands here. And then gently to neutral, so prayer position, and then we'll switch to left hand earth, right hand stars. Breathe in. And then once again, you may want to try a little bind here is fine on that. Oh yeah. And then gently to neutral. And then draw the hands behind you and release the hips down and soften into the hips here. Just come to neutral. Take a moment here, let some of the blood flow through the hips, pelvic floor. And then we'll come into Janu Shirsasana. You know this is head to knee pose. Extend the left leg out, bend the right knee, open the right knee to the right. And we'll begin with a twist here. And I kind of always offset my pelvis, so I'll reach that that left foot a little further forward, and then twist to the right. Take the left hand on the outside of that right knee or thigh. Keep the toes spread above the left foot, and now keep the leg grounded so much on the earth. Lengthen through the spine. And a nice big inhale and exhale. Twist over the extended leg. So we'll pause here. Twist over the extended leg. Get some length here. And then before we try and go down real far, just grab the shin with the hands and keep the upper torso, the upper body long. Sometimes there's a tendency to lead with the chin, and that actually shortens the cervical spine. So keep the chin tucked a little bit and the upper palate going back and up, essentially, and that keeps the spine nice and elongated, nice and extended. And then I'm energetically kind of pulling the leg into the pelvis here, and that is slowly anteriorly pivoting the pelvis and extending the upper hamstring. Take a big inhale. Exhale, sink a little lower into it, and then one more nice big inhale. And exhale, just drape your body into it so the head can release, forehead releases, hand reach forward. Oh, yeah. Breathe deeply into the belly to open up the kidneys, back body area. Yeah. And then inhale, check this out. Halfway lift, and then you can do a manual adjustment to the rib cage, and then, sink into it again. Stay with the breath. Yeah. And then gently tone the core. That means belly to the spine. Walk the hands up the leg. And then we'll switch this out. So just draw that right knee up and in, extend the right leg, bend left in. Lengthen here. And then twist to the left, right hand on the outside. And then again, I'm spreading the right toes. And that helps ground that right leg. Create some energetic lines. And we're just, again, feeling, experience, embodied, watching. And then a nice big inhale and exhale. Pivot around, twist the torso over the extended leg. So get that twist on first. Lengthen the spine and capture the shin. And then again, I'm trying to reach up. So I'm engaging the muscles of the back to extend the front spine, chin's tucking, upper palate's pivoting up and back. And then begin to kind of lengthen into it as the body releases into it. So it's not like you're trying to obviously push the body into the form. Let the body receive the form. Yeah, just keep breathing deeply. And again, embodied experience. Yeah, big inhale. And exhale, gently release deeper into it. The head can release. Hands can reach forward. Breathe into the belly. So once again, allow that sensation to open up into the kidneys in the back body area. And then belly to the spine. Inhale. Track the hands up the leg to float out of it here. Draw this left knee up. And extend the leg. Yeah. So Dandasana staff poses transition before Paschimottanasana. So hands under the shoulders, extend the torso, breathe deeply. And then hands to each of the legs, each of the shins. Here again, let the action be up instead of down per se. And again, there's this energetic pull of the hands on the legs into the pelvis. Then begin to lean forward here, deepening into the stretch of the hamstrings. Maybe the hands can reach the feet at some point, and then take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, just drape the body deeper into the form. Yeah, breathe deeply. Stay with the breath. And then belly to the spine. Inhale, track the hands up the leg here. Oh, yeah. And then I'm just going to spin around on the mat. We'll make our way onto our backs here. So just gently use your core in whatever way, just to slowly, make your way onto your back. Send the arms over the head long. Enjoy a full body stretch here. You can kind of walk the feet, flexion and extension of the feet, dorsiflexion they call it. Yeah, and then hug the knees into the chest here. Little rock side to side, massage the spine. And this morning we'll come into eagle leg twist. And so ground the feet here, draw the right leg up and over the left, maybe wrap around the calf if you can, and then shift the hips to the right, set them down, and the knees to the left, the arms at a cactus or a T. Be mindful, it's a heck of a twist. Breathe deep. Oh, so nice here. Just gently let the knees float back up. Unravel from the eagle leg twist here. And then we'll switch it out. So left leg up and over the right, maybe calf wraps. Feel that out. And then shift the hips to the left, the knees to the right, arms at a T or cactus, gaze to the left. And then gently let the knees drift back up to neutral. Unravel, hug them into the chest. We'll come into little inversion, Viparita Mudra, real familiar here. So if you have a block, the hips can go on the block. If not, just ground the hands firm, draw the knees up towards the chest, get a little momentum. So kind of like lift the feet, then lift the hips, and then walk under the shoulder girdle, and then the hands to the low back, and then sink the hips into the hands. So it's actually like a half shoulder stand or less. So the body's in a V shape here by design. Just kind of enjoy that. If it's a little tricky for the wrists or the elbows, you can draw the feet a little closer to you, and that'll release the hips up off of the hands, the wrists, elbow pressure. Let the eyes close at some point. Just enjoy embodied experience. Observer, witness, awareness. We'll put a little bend in the knees here. We'll gently release out of it. You can kind of float the hips from the hands, and then the hands release down, or ground feet remove from block. However, and then just float the hips down. Feet are flat. Hug the knees into the chest here. One last little rock side to side. And then we'll prepare for Shavasana, breath retentions and anticipation of that. So extend the legs out. Palms can turn up here. And then exhale your breath completely, and then take a nice big inhale and hold the breath in and on it. So inhale and hold the breath and wait. And then gently exhale. So this is that dharmi. This is the substratum. This is when embodied physical awareness begins to become subtle. One more breath retention, and I'll cue you to pooch out your belly as you do this. So exhale your breathing completely, and then take a nice big inhale. Hold the breath in. Pooch out the belly. And gently exhale your breathing. So you can carry this right into Shavasana, right into corpse pose, if you like. Do anything that's helpful for your comfort. Just going to set my meditation position here. Let the body release and relax. In this layer of experience, just notice that you're witnessing, that you're observing. And then notice your breathing. But notice how the breath breathes the body. The sensation is the body organically expanding and contracting as the breath pattern unfolds. One can witness this as an independent experience from the crest of observation. And notice how peace is embodied. Let your breath extend now a little bit deeper. Begin to emerge back into the earth body. So you're an astral, subtle body form, emerge back into earth body. A little movement, a little stretch of the arms, say. Hug in the knees. Choose to come to either side. And then come to seated position here. So take a moment and establish your seated meditation position. Have some support likely under your pelvis. You can roll up your mat a little bit. This is the part of our practice where we move into our pranayama meditation portion. So take whatever time you need to kind of get organized. I'd like to first just warm up our breathing with the full yogic breath. So as a reminder, or if it's new, the technique is you inhale into the belly, it extends and expands, and then the breath continues to come into the body, filling the ribs and the upper chest. Pause there. We'll do a kumbhak. We know this as a suspension of breathing. And then gently exhale slowly and deeply, and pausing with the breath held out for also a couple of counts. So breathing very slowly as you inhale and very slowly as you exhale, with a sense of observation as the quality of engagement. When we breathe with conscious awareness, what's taking place is we're infusing life force energy into the pranic sheath of our being, and that's essentially the communication fascia between mind and spiritual mind. In this age, we're at a dearth for this life force energy, and more its purification. So our perceptions have been darkened or dulled, or they're traveling in obscurity. So we invite illumination here. So with the breath warmed up, we're going to practice first the bandhas, the locks individually, and then we'll move into more advanced practices. The first, as we know, is Mula Bandha. There's different ways that people have taught and practiced this, and I teach it from the classical Hatha Yoga tradition. And in the classical Hatha Yoga tradition, we're actually engaging what's called Ganesh Nadi. And Ganesh Nadi is a lock inside the column of the colon, about 4 inches deep inside the cavity of the body. And so the technique here is a full yogic breath, but you initiate it again, the belly extends outward, but then as the belly draws to the spine, engage the anal sphincter muscle and follow that contraction up into the body, into the column of the colon. Keep breathing deeply and get to the top of the breath and hold the breath in for whatever is suitable for you, a few counts, maybe more, and then gently release the breath and then soften in the column of the colon or the anal sphincter area. Continue this practice on your own, and we'll bring us together as time permits. So just beginning when you're ready. Mula Bandha, the root lock. Give the breath retention a little bit of time. Sometimes pranayama takes a little bit of courage to engage in its kind of edges. And then gently with your next exhalation, we'll complete this practice of Mula Bandha. There's no hurries here, just wherever you are, just complete where you are. And in the stillness, just feel the sensations of the practice. So now we'll move on to Jalan Harbanda. We know this is the throat lock. It means cloud holding water. The technique is to take a flow yogic breath, hold the breath in, then release the chin down into the hollow of the throat, lift the sternum, and then bring the corners of your mouth up to close the glottis in the back of the throat. That's where the bandha is. It's in the back of the throat. It's energetic. It's not so much physical. Hold the breath as long as comfortable, and then lift the chin and gently release the breath. So again, we'll practice as time permits. Begin when you're ready. Jalan Harbanda, the throat lock, cloud holding water. And then with your next exhalation, complete the round that you're on. Again, there's no hurries here. And then just embody the effects of the practice. Then our last bandha, last seal is called Uddiyana Bandha, and it's the navel lock, and it means flying upward, flying upward. And this is done on an exhale retention. And so we'll take a full breath in, exhale your breathing, and I lean forward, turn the hands in, and then draw the belly button to the spine and then up under the rib cage as you hold the breath out. If you're not used to holding the breath out, this can be a little tricky. It can be a little challenging at first, and that's fine. It's serving its purpose. When you're ready to breathe, relax the belly out and then inhale and straighten the torso. So beginning when you're ready, again, Uddiyana Bandha, the navel lock, breath held out, and then suck literally the belly button to the spine and up under the rib cage. Beginning. And then once again, complete the round that you're on with your next exhalation and retention. Cycle through. Our next pranayam is described as Brahmari, or bee humming breath. And one might say that this has the potential to be the most transformative breath and technique that there is. Because we're literally creating a vibration of a physical and subtle nature that is radically purifying and remarkably revealing. And again, as the name implies, we just hum, and I'll just teach it on the exhale. We hum on the exhale in a high-pitched sound, vibrating the vocal cords in the back of the throat. It's natural for the vibration to ascend into the upper regions of the head or the heart. That's fine. I'll do one demonstration and then we'll practice this together. So take a full inhale. And exhaling while humming. So Brahmari, be humming And this may be a little unusual in the space that you're in. That's okay. Give it a go. And we'll do this practice as time permits and beginning. So gently complete the round that you're on here. Make any adjustments to the seated position in preparation for meditation. This last week's meditation was guided by the principle of non-duality. And in the embodied practice, we tone that same quality. So there's not necessarily a point or an object, say, for our concentration. The concentration is on the experience of the embodied wholeness, the embodied oneness. There is a method that I'll utilize, though, to support this. One is first guided to perceive the field of space in front of you. It's as if you're using your extrasensory capabilities of perception to feel in front of the physical body. If any thoughts appear in the mind, let the thought be echoed by the sound of Om. just in the mind or somewhere in your field. And then gently bring your awareness off of your right shoulder. So we'll go clockwise. Your right shoulder, the field in the space of the right side of the body. And again, the mantra of Om can be a companion, a tether laced as a practice or behind thought formation. And then gently let your awareness then um, be guided to the space behind the body. The magnetic being. And then let your awareness be guided off now the left side of the body. And now let your awareness be guided over the head. And then begin to imagine the Hiranyagarbha, and that's translated as the golden cosmic womb surrounding the earth body. Begin to experience an embodiment in the sense of Purna, in the sense of wholeness or oneness. And then the perception begins to transform into the expanding universe. So just allow for a sense of expansion to be felt. One might even be traveling through the cosmos. One might experience the abstraction of time. And then there's the frontier, the event horizon that you are the universe, fully embodied. But then standing behind that strata of the multiverse is the great mystery, non-being's nature. That which is in you, full embodied conscious awareness. Let's reawaken into breathing. Yeah. And we'll just chant an Om and three Shantis to complete the sadhana. One may reflect into the intention of Sankalpa. The first Shanti is let that be for your own peace. Let the second Shanti be for the communities that are vital to you. And then the third Shanti is for all of humanity, peace to the humans and to the planet and to the vegetables and the fruits and all the plants and all the animals. So big inhale for Om. And then inhale. Shanti. And again, inhale. Shanti. And last one. Shanti. So thank you, friends, so much for joining and staying with these practices. And take a moment today and pivot back into this sense of presence, this sense of embodiment, this sense of peace. And for any reason, I may not have your contact things, reach out through social media, message me so I have your contact stuff so I can include you in the upcoming events. I have made some postings. I've built in a completely new practice space here on the land. And so we'll have just an incredible opportunity to practice. It's just going to be delicious up here. It's so crystal clear and blue today. Want a little reminder of the whole Venmo thing. Appreciate that. Yeah, just stay with your practice. And thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you, Stephanie. Put a little shout out in the comments. And thanks for Brandon and Jessica for coming up and sticking with me through our practices here this morning. Thanks, Lori. And you know how this goes. Love, peace. Love, peace, everyone. Namaste.